Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving a voice. I will talk about removal of oil. There are several types of moving of oil. First is separation of water, and second is utilization. One of the methods of utilization of oil, which is excavated for our car, mobile devices, like car, ships, and engine devices, everything. So this is a petroleum waste, which is also kind of biomass, because oil origin is from biomass that was specially stored for billion years. And similarly, biomass is also carbon, but oil has much, is if not properly utilized, it harms the environment due to its specific long time pretreatment in the earth soil. This means that contain lots of phenols, lots of many compounds that are harmful for environment that needs to be utilized. Because of this is the biomass. That is strange that anaerobic digestion and dark fermentation are method of eating, but very small. There are also some so little organism in Baikal Sea, but they are more like some more not so simple, so not so multi-organism from which is hard to develop, and we still very low know about it. But mostly is one anaerobic digestion is very slow method, because the bacteria have very limited and can be fermented to even to methane and hydrogen. And the method also shows that due to hydrogen sulfide emission during this digestion, that it's coming for bacterial rest, because oil doesn't contain any source of that contain, but mostly from rest, also because the hydrogen sulfide emission was too high to only from oil, but also from bacteria. We make simple because the waste, the most experiments made in laboratory in published research contains special mixture which contains not only oil but many other compounds. So this means that we have mixture that we don't know exactly what is the type, and we can know that in my case in case of glycoethylene, which is very important and very harmful, which is source of many cooling devices and is one of most harmful for environment kinds. So we decided to check it by bacteria, and it's usually made. So not only by mixture, so we know, but it digests also some simple organic matter like glycoethylene, which is some important because we can utilize them. Other matter is also from microbial bacterial cell, but it needs some extra energy, so we can absorb this. And very important is to separate this waste, because if we waste sedimentation waste we perform, we need proper cleaning by sedimentation, and all we can perform by reverse osmosis, so using osmosis by special thin layer membranes or other fins or some ultrafins to separate the waste in the water, for example, which is the fluid form, which is suitable for bacteria. So we can separate this and then put into bacteria and for some time. It's also quite important because we need to remove our contamination, because our oceans, as in plastic case, are growing with oil problem, of oil spilling problem. This is coming from ships, from oil mining in the seashore, and it's big problem, and unfortunately still growing according to United States reports. So we need to both, and both is problem because plastic is also a oil derivative, so it can come even for plastic. And dark fermentation is such method which helps to produce and use some hydrogen or anaerobic digestion, in case of anaerobic digestion, to form some energy carrier that will increase production. This is the important method to use many different kinds of other method, but very very in very big research are coming from nematodes, which can are very old animals from the very early beginning of life in the earth, but they can also digest this waste and even lives in Balkai lake as natural eater of this oil, but still they are used very strictly known, and we have to provide them and they can be used. But anaerobic digestion is sound method, but we have to find the limits of bacteria, because the very biggest dangers of this is that this level of oil waste is too high, the bacteria dies. So we need to find such conditions, such concentration, such dilution of this waste that would be suitable. So it's the other method to produce. And Our research was showing that it is, in case of this ethylene glycol, that is some dependence between hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide ratio. It was very big strange of reviewers because by this experience was showing very discernible influence of ratio between hydrogen sulfide emission and hydrogen production. That was in every type of dark fermentation, but wasn't discernible as relevant. In case of oil waste, the emissions hydrogen sulfide and hydrogen production is discernible ratio. Therefore, we can see by this that these two cases production is coincide because hydrogen sulfide is a result of that bacteria are eating the rest. Therefore, we see that it is coincided, and glycerol is such product that we don't need to use any pretreatment to produce hydrogen. It was enough that I use this kind of substrate, so very toxic substrate are so good for dark fermentation that they produce hydrogen without necessary of a treatment. So this is also the way that we can develop dark fermentation for utilizing very toxic organic waste and produce and with returning, recycling by getting some energy. But in big focus on utilization of waste. Thank you very much.